any questions,
Yeah, you can go ahead and share it in the chat window if you have any questions. So, can somebody confirm if you are able to see my screen presentation mode?
we can see it.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, Amina and Lori, to present at your user group. It's always an honor to be part of this presentation. Myself, I am Deepthi Goguri. I'm a database administrator. So this particular session is basically about the SQL notebooks. It's a very basic session. Like if you never used notebooks before, you will know like you after this session you can go ahead and create your first notebook. And also I'll be explaining you a couple of the things that you can automate the SQL notebooks. So let's get started. A little bit about me. I'm a database administrator, like I said, having 8 years of experience. I forgot to update my slide. Sorry about that. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer and Microsoft certified solution expert. I also did my master's in computer technology at Eastern Illinois University. Chicago is very close to me, it's close to my heart. My partner is from my husband, he's also from Chicago. So uh, all the emotions and connections to the Chicago. So I love Chicago. And I do blog for dbanuggets.com. I blog a lot about SQL Server, and I started creating blog posts on Azure fundamentals. Like if you would like to learn more, please visit my website. And if you have any questions and you do not have time to ask here, you can definitely contact me on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter and LinkedIn. There's my email address. So please do not hesitate. So, uh, why did I even think about SQL notebooks in the first place? So a year ago, I changed my job, and in the new job, we used to get the audit request very frequently. I have never seen those many requests in my previous company. I worked there for 7 years, but I never have seen that. So we get at least like 2 to 3 audit requests every week, and the process that they already have is they created a documentation on in Microsoft Docs, and they explain like what are the steps that needs to be taken and what script needs to be run. Like if they ask like what are the users in the database in a specific database, then I need to run a specific query. And in that Microsoft doc that they created as a documentation, they have the link to the script that I need to run in my management studio. So the link is somewhere in the folder, right? And for some reason, anytime if the folder is changed or if the location is changed, that Microsoft Doc will be invalid, right? Because I don't know where the scripts are. So it was very tedious for me. I was very frustrated, to be very sincere with you, because I have lot of other stuff to do, other tough stuff to do because I'm a DBA, have like on call and the other stuff to do. I felt this process is tedious because I need to follow the documentation. I need to know where the files are. And then I need to copy the code or like open the .SQL code and then go to my jump server, copy the code, paste it, execute the code. And then I don't, I mean, they require the results in the Excel sheet. So I need to copy it to the Excel sheet. And not only that, they also want to know like we are not messing up with the results. So they want us to take the screenshot of the results along with the along with the time and calendar. So I need to open up the calendar, show the calendar, and take the screenshot. And I need to place those screenshots in a new Microsoft doc and then attach the Excel sheet, attach the Microsoft Doc sheet, what query I executed, and everything. And you need to attach those results to the request. So whoever requested me, like in the ServiceNow ticket or through the email, I need to attach and send it. Just imagine if it is like once in a while, that's totally fine. But this is becoming overwhelming to me. Like 2 to 3 times a week is like, I didn't like it. I used to work on that stuff. I I used to put that as a least priority one all the time. So I was looking around and then I was checking the YouTube videos. Somewhere I found like SQL notebooks. I thought let me look into it. And then I figured out this is a wonderful way where we can actually go ahead and document things in the notebook through the words, just like the way you write the words in the Microsoft Docs, but also not only that, you can insert the code within the same SQL notebook because you have the text cells and the code cells. Within the text cells, you can write the text. Within the code cell, you can place the code. And the code doesn't have to be only SQL. It can be Python, it can be Spark, it have different languages in it. So you can go ahead and mix and match those, and then you can go ahead and create, not only saving the code, right? Because you can save the code in Microsoft Docs as well, but you can execute the code within the SQL notebook. And those results will be showing up within the SQL notebooks as well. So once you execute the code within the SQL notebook, those results and everything will be saved. So you can directly send the SQL notebook to the requester, which I thought is like cool because I have documentation, I have query, and I have the results in the same location. I don't have to go anywhere. All I have to do is like create a notebook and save it in a place where I can run multiple times. So how about we don't run the same query on the same database every time. Audit requests come with different database, different server requests, right? So we can go ahead and make the connection to the SQL server, change the database, and then run the notebook. So I thought like this is very nice use case for me. I can go ahead and start using it, and I created all these. I converted all of those docs into the SQL notebooks, and right now it became so simpler. And then an additional step on that, like if you go to the next level, you can actually you do not have to manually run those SQL notebooks, but you can place those SQL notebooks in your agent jobs and then run it on the schedule. And there is a way that you can directly send the reports, like the results will be also in the SQL notebooks, but with the results in it, right? With the query results in it, you can directly send them, automate them to send it to the requester. So there are like many possibilities with SQL notebooks. So it is useful for the documentation purposes. You can create the troubleshooting documentation. You do not have audit troubles right now because you can make this automated, and it will save a lot of time, trust me. So as an overview, we are going to see the Jupyter notebooks. I mean, Jupyter notebooks is nothing but the collection of the SQL notebooks, and it's like a book. You have the collection of SQL notebooks in it. That's a Jupyter notebook. Basically, like if you have like a troubleshooting documentation where you wanted to create like 50 SQL notebooks in it, that can be as a collection. The Jupyter notebook, you can name it as a performance tuning notebook, and whenever a developer needs it or DBS needs it, all you have to do is like share the link to the Jupyter notebook where they can download. You can upload it to the GitHub as well. So we are going to see and talk about the markdown text. Do not worry if you do not know about the markdown, because I myself do not know nothing about markdown, but you can also type it just like the way you type it in Microsoft Docs, which is kind of cool, right? And we will see the benefits of SQL notebooks, some of the usage scenarios, and what are the limitations. So the first thing you need is Azure Data Studio, of course. That's free tool. You can download it from the Microsoft website. So like I said, like like once you download the Azure Data Studio, the notebooks, like I said, it have the code cells and the text cells, executable code. All these things I already discussed before. It's just like I collected a couple of notes here. I will share this presentation with you. Um, so there is something known as kernels within the SQL notebooks. Kernels are nothing but the languages that you can use. The SQL, Python, Spark, those kind of languages. And you need to remember one shortcut here. Control Shift P So when you do Control Shift P, it will open up the search bar for you, where you can go ahead and type notebook. It will say like new notebook. Do you want to create a new notebook? You can go ahead and create. So let me go ahead and show the demo. So if you see the screen, right, the below screen, I downloaded the Azure Data Studio, right? So right click on the app, go to the Azure Data Studio. So once you open up, um, this is how it looks like. So click on new. You can make a new connection to the SQL server, or you can write a new query and connect to the SQL server. You can also create a notebook. So I would like to create a new notebook. So let me click on that one. Once I clicked on that, if you see here, if I expand this, you see the code cell as well as text cell. The code cell, when I type it here, right, I can do like, I have actually created a SQL notebook because I want to save time. I don't want to type it here because I know I'll make mistakes. So I already created a SQL notebook. Let me show you that one. Because here I have placed all the capabilities that we can use within the SQL notebooks. So here we have code cell as well as text cell. So when I click on the text cell, it will open up the text. Like you can go ahead and write anything, like just like the way you write it in the Word document. So here I already have created a SQL notebook with the code cell and text cell. So for example, I have written it here, right? So I want to edit this one. You simply can't edit here. You have to click on the little pencil symbol over here and then go ahead and type new, for example, right? This is a user group meeting. I have already written there, but I'm just showing. You can underline, whatnot. You can do the same exact things that you can do with the Microsoft Docs. You can make it as a main paragraph. If you click on here, you can make it as a heading number 1, or you can change heading number 2 or 3, and just if you wanted to do it as a paragraph, and you can do the bullet points, everything. So this looks exactly like the Word document, right? So if you see the right side your screen on the top here, there is a I symbol, rich text view. Whatever you write here is what you will see. There is also the other thing which is known as split view. So when you click on that, it will show you the markdown text as well as how that markdown text look like in the rich text view. If you're not familiar with the markdown text, like I'm not familiar with the markdown text, so I'm very comfortable in using like rich text view. I will just type it in. If you're familiar, if you want to use the markdown text in complete, you can go ahead and use the markdown text here. Let me go back to the view, rich text view. If you see here, I have attached the picture. You can attach the picture, you can attach the GIFs. Um, so why did I actually put all in one here? I have searched this picture. This remember me my school days back in India. Whenever we used to have the exams, we used to buy these all-in-one books. So all-in-one books are the collection of the subjects, all the subjects, English, mathematics, science, social studies, all together in a single book is known as all-in-one book. All we have to do is like we have to carry that just one book for our exams, study, and then take the exam. So it's a collection of the subjects, right? In the same way, the SQL notebook is like the all in like the kernels, that means the different languages within the SQL notebook are like the different kernels, like the English subject matters, right? The SQL, if you see here, the kernel, if you expand it here, you'll see SQL, PySpark. These are the languages that are supported currently. If you think the all-in-one book as a Jupyter notebook, then all the subjects that you have can be the SQL notebooks with the different kernels. You can mix and match the kernel like once you click on the cell, go to the code cell, right? If I go down here, I have clicked on the code cell. So once I clicked on the code cell, it shows me the code here. I will explain this here. So all I did was like select star from sys databases. So I have written the code, but how do I execute it to the connecting to the SQL server? So if you see on the top, it says attached to, right? Attached to select connection, change the connection. So I want to make a connection to the SQL server. So let me change the connection. I wanted to click on, I wanted to connect to the master database to the local server. If you see here, Windows authentication, and I would like to connect to the master database. You can also um, create the server group. It is simply a name that you can create, and then you can place a couple of the servers underneath this server group. It doesn't do any activity by itself, but it's just like collection of SQL servers. And then if you want to name it, I do not want to name anything currently. I'm connecting to the local server right now. And I connected to the master database. If you see here, local server master database. So now I'm ready to go ahead and execute this small query over here. So you can execute the SQL notebooks in two ways. You can execute every single cell on its own right here. I can just click on this to run the code. So if you see the results, this looks like the management studio results, right? They look the same. But also there are additional availabilities here, like the views, the other views here. You can go ahead and save these results as CSV. If I hover my mouse as an Excel, you can save it. JSON format, XML, and this is something interesting. Show the chart. So once you click on show the chart, you can see the same results in the graphical format. Now, there are several advantages of uh, with this feature because, like, if you wanted to do a presentation to the business users who do not know anything about SQL, all they care is about the data patterns, how the pattern of the data is looking like, what is the flow of the data. You can directly show them the charts, what are the patterns and how the data is flowing, right? You can use it in the presentations and share it with the other business users if they want to see how the things are going with your data. That is really helpful. And you can also directly execute the entire SQL notebook by using the run all here on the top. If you see here, if I execute that, it will it will actually execute the same code over again. There is one more thing that I would like to tell is if you are creating a SQL notebook, try to use a single kernel, the single language in your entire notebook. For example, if you want to create a performance tuning document, use the SQL kernel and use only SQL kernel throughout your SQL notebook. If you want to create a PowerShell script, create another SQL notebook with the kernel PowerShell. You can certainly go ahead and mix and match within the same SQL notebook, but the problem is that you can't execute all at the same time. Like, let's say I have a PowerShell script within here as well as a SQL. I have created two code cells, let's say, with two different kernels. Once I execute run all, if the first code cell is SQL, it will run fine when the kernel is set to SQL. But for the second one will fail because I have to manually go ahead and change that to PowerShell. So it is not advisable um, to mix and match here. Try to make it separate and then create Jupyter notebooks, the collection of notebooks together. And a couple of the other things that I would like to say here is like if you have a very big stored procedure and you want to collapse those cells, see the right side, top right side on the top, you see collapse cells. Once I click on the collapse cells, the the text will be hidden, the script will be hidden. For example, um, I have executed this code, right? I would like to go ahead and see the results again. To see the results again, click on the show table button over here, the fourth one. It will show the results in the table format again. But I created a SQL notebook and I tested myself. The code is working fine. Now I have to share to the other developer. I do not want to share the results with him, but I just want to share the code with him. But I already executed here. How do I share? You can go ahead and clear out the results that you executed by clicking on the clear results, top right view, top right side. By clicking clear cells, your results will be cleared. And then this is something known as trusted. Um, I did not looked into more into this, but the other option here is run with parameters. So this option is currently not available for SQL. You cannot parameterize your SQL notebooks if you are using SQL kernel, but you can definitely parameterize if you are using PowerShell and the other languages. And the last option here is export notebook as SQL. So for example, you have this SQL notebook, which have a text as well as code. Now I would like to convert that into .SQL format. With a simple click, you can go ahead and convert that. Do not worry because you will have the previous query as well, like the previous notebook as well as is, but then it will open up in different .SQL. All you have to do is like copy, and then if you want to run in SSMS, you can run it there or you can run it here as well. Couple of the advantages that we have by using SQL notebooks are, like I said, like we can share the notebooks with others along with the results. If you do not like, you can just clear it out and then share with them. And then if you're making any changes to your data, um, running the code like how many records are you going to update or delete? Grabbing the data first will save the results, and then you can go ahead and delete the data so that you will know like how many rows were there before and how many rows you deleted later. But if you refresh by running the entire SQL notebook again, the results will be changed, right? Because you are running the notebook currently. So it will grab the new results. But if you want to make it as a document, like, hey, what did I do? Like, first I have seen how many records do I have to delete. So I did a select and that results are saved. Next, I'm running this code, I delete these results and the results are saved here. And you can save that and then you can share it to the to your manager, like what have you done and how you have proceeded with the procedure and whether you have done it right or not. It's like a confirmation for what you did. I used it for the auditing purposes, like I said, and I have created an example of how I actually I mean, this is just for my demo. I have created a analysis. You can think it like any analysis, like a data scientist may do the documentation or like developers, DBAs, whatnot. I have made this as an example, like COVID-19 data analysis with the live data that I captured from the World Health Organization. So I downloaded the Excel files and then I imported into SQL Server. I can show you how I created that. I'll just it's pretty easy to just download the Excel sheet. I mean, I have seen some errors and then some duplicate data, such kind, but then I somehow imported couple of Excel sheet just for my demo. So here what I did was like I I downloaded the Excel sheets and then I imported into SQL Server as a tables. So I grabbed all of this information like what are the deaths, what are the statewide vaccinations that are um, taken, for example, for the California state, what are the total deaths, and what manufacturing companies are doing better than the others, what are the digits, right? So I created this COVID. COVID database. And now I wanted to connect to the database and I wanted to do the analysis. Like without telling the employees to just go ahead and take the vaccination, I would like to show them with my analysis of why we are actually suggesting that so that they can see the results. They don't have to be a developer to understand this because we have the view to show them in the graphical view format instead of the results. They can go ahead and see and decide that for themselves. So I have taken the data, source data from this repository, and I have provided the citations. So you can actually do this in-depth documentation. I have given like what is COVID-19. I have used gift here and what are the membranes that we have here using the picture. Now I will not execute the results because I have deleted a couple of the data later down the later down in this SQL notebook. I would like to show you how we can clean up the data by using SQL notebooks as well. I have already executed these results, so I would like to not execute it over again. See, and this will be useful. These SQL notebooks can be also useful when you are doing your demos. If you are doing any presentations, you can actually execute your code ahead of time and then show the results in the presentation. This is an example. So we are doing the top 10 counties with the most COVID cases. So as I execute this, I can see the results in the table format, just like the management studio. But also, like if I'm showing to some other people who are completely different, who are not the developers, they can just see the results in the graphical format. So the total cases in Africa is the top one. And what is the second one? It's Argentina. And these are the other countries. These are the top 10 countries um, with the most COVID cases. Okay. Now I would like to see based upon the continent. Now again, we can see it in the table format, but I would like to see it here. It's a visually you can easily identify what's going on and how the data looks like, right? So the total vaccinations that are available in the top in the continents, the total vaccinations in Asia is like more than the others. People who are partially vaccinated, these are the continents. And if you'd like to see the continents on the top, you can see it what color represented which continent, people fully vaccinated, and the total number of population. So if you see the population, the number of vaccinations that are available are more when compared with the total population. And then analyze the people got vaccinated within the United States per state. So these are the results, 50 states. And if I see it in the uh, graphical format here, you can see the little, because I grabbed all the 50 states, you can see all this, right? So if I hover my mouse over here, the total vaccinations, they're like a total vaccinations and people vaccinated partially, people fully vaccinated again, based upon my select statement over here. And then I took specifically, I took the California state here. So what are the unvaccinated cases in California? Like unvaccinated cases and the vaccinated cases, if you see here, unvaccinated cases are high, right? And then how many people were unvaccinated and end up in hospital? If you see here, unvaccinated, hospitalized, vaccinated, hospitalized. If you see the difference, vaccinated who end up in hospital is very less, right? And then unvaccinated deaths versus vaccinated deaths. There is a lot of difference here. This result itself will say a lot about the importance of the vaccination. Now, how the manufacturing companies are doing, right? These are the different tables that I'm grabbing the information from. So I would like to see what are all these, what are the manufacturing companies? If you see the Pfizer is in the top, is doing wonderful. And the second one is Moderna and the others. There are certain um, interviews that happen at different counties within United States. asking people if they would like to wear a mask when they are outside in the 6 feet difference, in the 6 feet of far away difference among the other people, whether they would like to wear a mask or not. And there are these 10 counties, wonderful counties, who said like they always wanted to wear a mask. So no offense to any other state or the any other counties. This is the live data that I grabbed for my demo. So these are the states who said they always wanted to wear a mask. And the other side, there are 10 counties which said like, ah, nah, I don't want to. It's uncomfortable. I don't want to. So these are the 10 counties. So if I am showing this document to the non-tech person, they don't even have to go to the results, right? Results are boring, like their digits are always boring. I want to see it visualize and see the results. And these are counties said never. I added a give again how to wear a mask if you do not know how to wear a mask. And then while I was doing my analysis for the COVID, I found something weird. So when I grabbed the top 20 locations of the vaccinated people, like the total number of cases, I found something weird in my results. Like if you see this one, it says upper middle income and then the lower middle income. If you see here, and then the low middle income. So I do not know why they have added this high income, upper middle income, low income. Life is a life. We do not have to combine that or compare that with the financial status. I don't want my analysis to include that information. So what I did was like, as a DBA, even though before I delete anything, I need to take a backup, right? So I just selected all the data related to those three categories: high income, middle income, low middle income. I placed it in a different table, and then I went ahead and deleted the data. We can use SQL notebooks to cleanse the data as well. And then if you observe here, I saved this SQL document, right? So I know how many rows I selected this first. So I know the results, how many results I have actually copied over 2175 rows. Okay. Now I deleted this. How many rows did I delete it? 2175. Now I can compare here. I can save this document for my documentation so that later I can know what I did, right? Now, if you update it, if you run this query again, I won't get the same results because it is running on the live data. So you need to save that, right? And then I went ahead and saw like if there is any data after I deleted, I made sure no data is available upon these categories so that my analysis is clear and valid. Upon that, I did my observations. I explained why they have to take the vaccination, and they can they can decide it by themselves by looking at the data, by looking at the trend in the data. So I concluded that it doesn't cost you to protect your life, but it does cost your life if you're not protected. So I thought of doing this demo just for the demo purposes. But this is like an example of documenting, right? Documenting and saving the data before you do anything so that you can later view it, what you have done. And the other one is like I said, I used the SQL notebooks for the auditing purposes. So the auditing requests are like very simple, right? But tedious to go ahead and manually do it. Like for example, the server role membership. What are the server role membership and what are the orphan users list, right? You can add the query and then see the results. Database level information, like what are the databases and what are the states are they, what recovery models they are, and what are the login server role permissions. You can grab the data, right? But I can save this SQL notebook and I can run it by changing the connection and making it to the right connection. I can change the connection. I can choose the database that I would like to connect to, right? And then connect and run it. But you can also automate this process, right? Automate this process by using the SQL agent job. So when you download Azure Data Studio, you will not get you'll not get the plugins, the add-ins of the SQL agent, but you can actually download that. Let me show you here. Let me go to the database. So I clicked on the servers. These are the connections that we have. So I would like to click on local COVID, COVID database, right click on it and go to manage. So once you go to manage, we are connecting to the COVID database. So you see all the tables that are available here. And if there are any notebooks, you can see, you can, but I would like to see the server level here. So you can take a step back from the database and go to the server level. So I'm clicking on local here on the top. So once I clicked on the local, it will give me a view of what all databases do we have, what are the size of the database. Now again, this is a default screen. I did not make any dashboards, right? So you can see the size of the database, the backup status, and then under the administration, you can see the SQL agent. So this is something, this is a plugin um, that you have to download from the Azure Data Studio. So I do not want to show you like how to do that, how to go ahead and actually download it, and then go ahead and create a job so that your notebook can automatically run on the top of it. Because Tayo Bali, he's a speaker as well. He's an MVP and speaker. He gave a wonderful presentation, like a 14-minute presentation. It's really worth to watch because not only having the notebooks is sufficient, but also you need to go to the next step of like automating that to make things simpler, right? So I will provide you the video link. We have given that to actually data exposed um, from the Microsoft. So he have given that 14 minutes, like how to create a job, how to attach your SQL notebook and make it run automated on the schedule. So I'll share that with you. But I have actually created one and I have executed one of the jobs. Let me show you how the results look like. So here, if I go to the databases, right? If I go to the SQL agent here, these are the notebooks I have created. These are the notebooks that are running from the SQL agent jobs. So if I click on notebooks here, you can see the jobs which are related to the notebooks. So I have notebook for agent job here. So if you see the jobs, it will show all the jobs here. If you see the purge history, it doesn't have any notebook in it. It will show each and every job. If you go to the agent like management studio, right? Underneath the jobs, you can see the same exact jobs. So to schedule the agent, sorry, to schedule the job which can run the SQL notebook, this you cannot schedule it from from the Azure Data Studio, but you have to schedule it from the Management Studio. So what I did, I followed the Iobali presentation and I have created the notebook. And then here, this was the one we are looking for. So let me double click on that one. It will show you all the like when did this job executed and whether it was successful. How long did it take to execute? If you go here, it will show you all the trends in the runs, like how much time does it took to run the job. If the peak is high, that means like it took longer time to run. So once I click on that and then go to the notebooks here, this is the this is the job, right? So if I double click on that one, you need to go to the notebooks to see the results of the job. So I went to the notebook, right? I went to directly notebook. It gave me the jobs that are related to notebooks. Double click on that one so that you can see the results. So I executed. Let me show you the how the results look like. So all I did was I placed a very simple code here to execute to grab the results of vaccinations from location United States. So I placed it in the job and as it executed, it gave me the results, right? The output will be also in the a SQL notebook format, but with the results. So if you see the job here, you can edit the job to see like it. So the notebook path, and then which database you are connecting to, and then who is the owner of the job. And you can go ahead and see in the video. I do not want to necessarily show it here because we already have the video. Please go ahead and see, like, this is very useful. You can automate this stuff. And also you can, if you see here the operators, you can add a new operator to send you the once it is succeeded, you can send like, hey, this job is being completed. You can go ahead and also create the alerts by using the SQL notebooks. You can run the jobs by using these SQL notebooks.
There was a question, if you have an existing notebook jobs, can you rename that job?
I think so. I mean, you can rename it from here, of course, but I do not know if okay, let's do the rename here. Let me do that. Maybe underscore test. You are able to, do you wish to continue? Yes. Now let me go here and then refresh, maybe. Jobs, all jobs. Refresh. Yeah, we can change it there. I do not know if we can change it here though. Edit job. Okay, now let me change this here and then refresh. Refresh. Okay, now let's see if it is changing it here. Yeah, vice versa. You can change it.
Thank you.
No problem. So, so that was the one I was, I was thinking of showing it to you. And then the other one is, let me go to the notebooks here. If you see the left side of your screen, the first Jupyter notebook, and it have all the little SQL notebooks here. Contents, what is query store, benefits, how to force and unforce the query store. So I prepared this Jupyter notebook. I mean, I never gave a presentation by using the SQL notebooks, to be very sincere, because I just learned a couple of months ago. But what I did was like, how about we create the SQL notebooks as a book, right? So for example, I'm giving presentation on query store. So I can do the table of contents in one SQL notebook because we can write the text cells in it, right? Then next, what is query store? I can just simply walk through these SQL notebooks and explain the things, right? The benefits and how to force and unforce the plans for the from the query store. So I can directly, what I did was like, I just copied and then pasted in the SQL notebook. It created everything for me. I can just go ahead and like it has actually given me the single code cell, but you can go ahead and take your time and create different code cells, run one step at a time to show it in your demo. So what I did was like, just to show you like the collection of SQL notebooks and then make it as a Jupyter notebook. You can collect, um, use it for the documentation, like performance tuning documentation. Let's say like we are doing on call, right? So when we are doing on call and I'm a new DBA here, I might not know everything. If you already have a performance tuning documentation, and if you already if you can make a document on all the stuff, all the things that you see over and over again, the issues, you can create a document. The DBA, when he gets a call pager 3 a.m. in the morning, when he know like where to go, all he have to do is like open the SQL notebook, run the SQL notebook, because it is already documented, and if you follow those steps, the problem will be solved. And if you do not have if you do not use the SQL notebooks, you have to know where the documentation is, where the code is. You need to connect to the servers. It gets tedious, and especially when it is early in the morning, it gets it gets hard, right? It's hard to do. So that's my demo. And then let me show you the, mm, so like I said, like benefits, right? Many benefits. Visualization purposes. You can share it with the non-business users. They don't have to be technically strong on it. Um, you can use it for the data cleansing purposes, transformation, and then you can automate and parameterize the notebooks. Again, there is a like you cannot parameterize the SQL, but you can do it with Python and, and PowerShell, right? The first reference here is, like I said, like how to use like managing SQL Server agent job with notebooks jobs in Azure Data Studio. It's wonderful session, like 14 minutes. Spend your 14 minutes. It is very nice. And then the other documentation from Microsoft Docs, which I followed to prepare this presentation. And Julie from Microsoft has actually have a very long session. In my session, I just showed you the SQL, but Julie has actually showed you the Python and then the PowerShell language kernels. And also she showed how to actually um, automate a couple of things with the notebooks. There is a lot to learn. So if you like this session and want to know more about the SQL notebooks, please follow the link down below. I would
Hey,
like to thank everyone one more time for giving me this opportunity.
hey Dipti,
Yeah.
is it possible? Can you just copy this and put this in the chat so they
Oh,
get
of
the
course.
instant?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be,
Of course, yes.
helpful for all.
This
Yeah.
is just 14 minutes, but oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's so wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me share that. And also, I forgot to um, show you one more thing. So, for
And
example,
before
yeah,
that,
go
there's
ahead.
one question,
Sure.
Tim has asked that can you import the server name from CVS list? So in the notebook, is it possible to import the names of the server? I don't think
Uh,
so, but I don't know. Programmatically, can you do that?
I mean, you mean the parameterization of the server names?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
if you are
think we can do
automatically
that, but
if you
not.
automatically doing the job, can you pass the server name that that run it
Mm.
against this database on this server, this notebook?
I mean, if that is SQL, then we can't do it. But then parameterization is available for the
For the
PowerShell
notebook?
and the others. Yeah, but not for
Okay.
the SQL at this moment, at least. And
Okay.
also, I would like to show you some other thing here,
Sure.
how to upload it to the GitHub. So this is my GitHub repo. So you can go ahead and simply upload. Let's say I'm doing a test notebook just to share how to actually save it. So I'm creating the repository here, and then I'll go ahead and upload, create a new file, maybe not creating a new file, upload a new file. So you can go ahead and choose your files. Let's say like I have this audit report, let's say that is a SQL notebook. I would like to upload it. So once you upload, you can just commit the changes, right? That means it is saving your SQL notebook here. If you have results, those results are saved here. So if you share this link, right, to link to any of your developers, I mean, you don't have to go public. You can put it as private and share it with the people you want. All they do is like they have to come to this, they have to just connect to this link and then go to the code and then download the zip file. So once you download the zip file, let's see. So once you download the zip file and open the file, you have the SQL notebook over here. So the results are saved. So once you download and open, the results are appearing here. So you can actually share this, right? Because like if you are if the other developers or DBAs they're facing certain issues, they cannot run a code. All you have to do is like you can go ahead and review the code that they have written. You can change it, run against your SQL server, You can show the results and then save and send it to them so that they can know like, okay, I made a mistake over here. So now they can go ahead and connect to their database and see if it is working or not. You can actually do the code reviews as well. That's the advantage of having the SQL notebooks. One of the advantages. Any more questions we have today?
No, that was great.
Thank
That
you. I
was
know it
great.
is a basic session. I need to expand on this one, but I don't have much time to expand.
Hey,
Yeah,
for
no, no,
Right,
some
it,
of us, it's new stuff,
mhm.
so it's good it's basic.
Yes.
right,
Yeah.
right. I hope it was useful. And then I
Yeah.
will share my GitHub repo so that you can. I already uploaded all my um, slides over here. You can go ahead and grab it.
Yeah, I'll stop the recording now. So.
Sure.